Eoin Sheahan of Sheahan's Sushi. We can't see you, just a black dot on the screen there. How are you getting on?
I'm very well. How are you getting on? When you mentioned Cornage there, and Johnny says he was in France last week, I thought he was going to correct you and say it's actually pronounced Cornage or something like that. So I didn't get the phrase du jour as the French reference. Yeah, you can probably barely see. It's a lot brighter, I'd say, on screen than it is here, because it's a dull day here over Osaka Bay here in Kobe. It's like you're actually standing on Salt Hill in the middle of winter rather than looking out at the Pacific Ocean at the end of the summertime here. It's still very warm. It's not going to have any impact on the game today because it's going to be played under a closed roof, and those conditions are possibly going to be the worst conditions these Irish players will have ever played in. It's supposed to be an absolute sweatbox, the Mizaki Stadium here in Kobe.
So yeah, that's we're talking to the silhouette of Eoin Sheahan now.
Yeah,
but,
he's like a guy who's like he's now working undercover or something. Where it's like, can't be revealed. But I guess this is a good day, Eoin, for like conditions that aren't ideal, in the sense that at least we should be able to get the win.
Well, yeah, but we didn't exactly handle the conditions too well last time out in the humidity of Shizuoka. I think there's actually a good case to be made. Not that it was the reason why we lost the game or anything. They were all basically, the main reasons were on Ireland. But I do think when people mentioned the turnaround and also the conditions, I think they do have a point. I don't think this Irish team have adapted very well to it, to be quite honest with you. So it's going to be tough for them. Scotland did the business in this very stadium during the week and looked impressive. So it is possible for good old-fashioned Northern Hemisphere rugby, although Scotland don't play like that at all, do they, to exist in this place and do well. So I think it's going to be a bigger challenge, Johnny, than some people think in terms of the conditions. It might actually be a bigger challenge than the Russians themselves will put up.
Just in terms of you've been around the squad obviously over the last couple of weeks, and you've commented several times that the general, I'm not going to ask you what the mood in the camp is like, but the general sort of outlook of the squad has been pretty good, even sort of post the defeat. Has that continued over the last couple of days? Because the difficulty with this game is one of the papers this morning describes it as a bit of a no-win situation, and that's kind of what it is. But generally the outlook has been kind of positive still post Japan.
Yeah, definitely. We only see them when they're doing their 15 minutes of vision access during their training sessions, only during their press conferences. I have bumped into a couple of the players in and around their team hotel before and after press conferences, people that weren't up for media. Looks like they're in pretty good form. Nobody's looking down at the dumps too much, and maybe that's because of such a quick turnaround. You say it's a no-win situation here, but really, Russia, after 5 days, is probably as good a situation as Ireland could have hoped for after falling to one of their worst World Cup defeats. First of all, it's a team that they should beat pretty handily. What's the spread today? Did I see somewhere that the spread is 40 or 50 points?
Yeah, I think it's around 50 on there.
And then second of all, it's coming up to the game really quickly. They will be going back, unless it's an absolute catastrophe today, they will be going back into a 9-day turnaround with a win under their belt, rather than having to mull over things for 9 days with a terrible defeat under their belt. So I don't think it's a no-win situation at all. I think in terms of getting back on track, it's worked out pretty well for them. They're going to be tired at the end of tonight because of the turnaround and because of the conditions. But then things should be back on track. They should have a bonus point win. They should be looking ahead to Samoa with 9 days ahead. And then all of a sudden, perhaps you're looking at the other game in the pool and you're looking, can Scotland do Ireland a massive favour? Because I do think that the South African one-off occasion game that might happen with Ireland, if Scotland do Ireland a favour at the end and Ireland beats Samoa, I do think that there is still going to be hope around that, and the team will get built back up again to a point where they might be potential World Cup quarter-final winners.
Yeah, the no-win aspect obviously is that if they do beat them by 50 points, it's just that was expected anyway. And then if they don't, it's how crap are Ireland?
Well, even if they win by 30 or so on, it's kind of they're limping a bit over the line. It's we're in every bit as bad a situation mentally as we were after the Japan game. I think that's the worry on that. As you said, the turnaround after this game is long, but if Ireland don't hockey them today, and obviously you're looking for Sexton to play well, I think people at home be we've serious issues here, because the mentality is all about subsequent to Japan and how much morale is down after that. So I don't really know, short of winning by 80 points today, what they can do to actually kind of bring it up.
Yeah, well, I guess a good performance from Sexton. Sexton looking in flow would be a good positive. That's what we kind of look for when we look for Johnny Sexton now. It's not just so much what is he doing on the pitch, but how is he moving, how is he looking? Is he going to take all the goal kicks today, for example? That would be a positive. If he comes away from this game now Like, this is the interesting question. If we do come away with a huge win, if we do cover the spread, we can use that as our barometer here. What do you then do with your frontliners? Like, 9 days of a turnaround is a long time. And then I think it's the following Saturday that the quarterfinal will be if they end up coming second in the pool. So, like, you're talking about 15, 16 days of a turnaround between now and then if one of your frontliners is rested against Samoa. One of those people could be Johnny Sexton because he can't really do 3 games in a row. So, I don't know. It's a tricky enough situation when it comes to after this game as well. But I do feel that there is a possibility of a win. There is a win-lose situation here. The lose is Ireland look bad. The win is Ireland look fantastic, and they do destroy Russia, and we do relatively get back on track.
Yeah, and it looks like he will have to take the kicks as well. Like, I can't see anybody else there. Rob Kearney's the only one who's got any experience of it, and that's minimal enough, so it looks like he's going to have to do that. They must be confident enough in it. What's the what sort of numbers? I know at various points you've said there hasn't been a huge amount of fans around, and then obviously on game day they tend to flood in. What's the buzz been like around Kobe?
Exactly the same this week, Adrian. A lot of fans flooding in this morning. Just did a walk around Osaka Bay there, the harbour here, just a moment ago. It's lashing rain, obviously, but there's a fan park right outside the hotel here, which is where all the fans are currently under a tent, drinking pints and watching some traditional Japanese music up on the stage. Not a whole pile there because of the rain, but there is just a vast difference in terms of the last couple of days. A lot of green jerseys around today. Saw one Wexford jersey actually in a restaurant earlier on today, and people are getting their GA jerseys out here. But I'd say once I take this train now after this call down to the stadium, a short half an hour train right away, it's going to be absolutely wedged once again. Because it's a beautiful part of the country, lads. People have been down here doing their tourism. Like, if you wanted to come to one place that wasn't Tokyo and see a bit of culture and see a bit of the country that you haven't seen before, people would probably come to Kobe and moved around from here over the last couple of days.
Are you planning another State of the Nation in Japan type montage after?
Oh God, I don't know, Johnny. There's no planning that goes into that sort of stuff.
It just happens. It's organic. Yeah, all right.
The fans demand it, Johnny. So I mean, I'm sure I can't see any reason it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. In other words, do it. Adrian's telling you, you're under orders.
It's like an apparition.
Give us then the top. If I'm heading to Kobe, outside of the wine and tempura bars, what should I go and see?
Well, I was in Kyoto earlier this week. Only got about half a day up there. But it's very, very impressive city. It's got all the old traditional stuff that you kind of associate with Japan and their Shinto spirituality, which is kind of Japanese people's connection with the past. Kobe itself is kind of like an annex to Osaka, which I didn't get a chance to go to, unfortunately. Might come back during a couple of down days in Fukuoka. Hiroshima is a bit of a journey away, but that will be en route to Fukuoka for any Irish fans going that way. And I'd say a lot of people will be stopping off there. And then, of course, you had Mount Fuji about 2 hours back the way towards Tokyo as well. So if you had your rail pass, which is kind of like your Interrail pass, but for Japan, and you had it for a week here, you could get a lot done by staying based in Kobe. So that's why I haven't seen so many Irish fans over the last couple of days. Today, that is going to be a very different story.
2 important questions to end on. Number 1, have you had any of the beef?
Yeah.
You were talking to Joel Stransky about it during the week. You were shooting the breeze about the Kobe beef.
Yeah, he gave me some good tips. This will be the 3rd time I've talked about Kobe beef and off the ball in the last 36 hours. But yeah, I was chatting to Joe and Jer on the last couple of shows. And as I said then, and I'll say now, it does indeed melt in your mouth. It is ridiculously nice.
It's full of fat, right? Like, it's heavily marbled, I think, is the industry expression.
You're a bit of a foodie yourself, Adrian, so you might be able to tell me more. Like, is Kobe beef and Wagyu beef the same thing? Because Wagyu beef was a different option on the menu. But I opted for Kobe beef, so I don't think
I have had Wagyu, and that was extremely heavily marbled. But yeah, as in there's a lot of fat through it, essentially, which is the tasty part. It turns out, as grim as it is.
Yeah, like that must be the thing that kind of makes it dissolve. Like, it's before you know it, it's gone. It's trying to grasp fresh air, trying to eat Kobe beef, but you kind of appreciate every moment. Don't be sad that it's over. Smile because it happened, I think, is Bevo's gonna line on Kobe beef.
That's beautiful, Eoin.
Can you even remember your other question now?
It was to do with the wine.
Oh yeah, I didn't have any wine. I'm not here to drink. I'm here to work hard.
Did you not go to a wine and tempura bar?
I did, but I only had the tempura. I'm here. I'm a food journalist, not a drink journalist.
You want to look at your life choices on. Here, listen. Thanks. What are you predicting, by the way, before we let you off?
I think Ireland are not going to cover the spread. I've got a bad feeling that it's going to be one of these days where as Johnny says, he will be coming away saying, God, that was a little bit disappointing. That being said, I think they could win by late 20s, early 30s today. I think the conditions are going to be very, very tough in this Irish team. The turnaround isn't going to help. They'll beat themselves almost in certain elements of the game today. There's going to be a lot of errors. Hopefully not. Hopefully they do cover and we're back on track. But I've got a fear that we'll get the bonus point win, but we'll get about 5 tries perhaps.
All right. Izzo Cody, just let you know before you head off, was in touch to say it may not have reached the journalistic highs of his post-game Vox Pops, but Eoin Sheahan's interview with Rob Penny deserves mention. Really excellent and comprehensive. I endorse that. He's been doing unbelievable work.
You have really, Eoin. Your stock is on the rise. More so.
I don't know about that.
More so. He redeemed himself right there at the end.
There's just good people in good places here, really. So yeah, Rob is an absolute gentleman. Actually, sat down with him. He just got the Waratahs job. I planned to chat to him anyway. And he just got the Waratahs job there yesterday, I think it was announced. So he's pretty excited about that. Not going back, he's been in Japan for the last 5 years, I think, at this point. So he's well placed to give an insight into Japanese rugby, but kind of back more on our radar. I think more people would watch the Waratahs play rugby than NTT Communications or whatever team he was involved with here in Japan. So yeah, he's back on the right track, but still has tons of fond memories of Munster. And yeah, it's a decent piece. He was in good form for the chat.
Just good people in good places. Owen's been spending too long. He's becoming too humble.
He is, yeah. He's becoming rather nice. Yeah. The edge is gone.
Yeah. Come home, Owen, come home. Listen, go on.
Too many people have been bowing at me here.
yeah. Have you got any selfies taken with you yet?
No.
This is very disappointing.
Actually, there was one guy after the first Japan game, Japan-Russia that night. I was obviously doing Vox Pops as well outside the stadium, and the guy said, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I got the sense that it was kind of like a sneery picture, as in he'll say to his mates, "Look at this hilarious-looking fella who I spotted outside the stadium." So
how wide is this guy?
Maybe. Yeah, exactly. It's probably been happening, but I haven't been smart enough to actually cop onto the fact that it's been
Of course, there's no suggestion you were trying to get hilarious responses when you were doing your Vox Pop.
Oh God, no, Johnny. What are you suggesting here? It's only insight and analysis. That's the only thing I look for.
Good luck.
Good luck.
See you. Thanks a million. Eoin Sheahan there, live on the line from Kobe.